All right, today we are cracking the code to what makes love last using Gary Chapman's incredible book, The Five Love Languages. We're going to dive into two of the most important and maybe most misunderstood ways people give and receive love. And then stick around because I'm going to give you a super simple way to figure out which one is yours. Let's jump in.
This is the question that really kicks the whole thing off. Dr. Chapman says a passenger on a plane asked him this, and man, it just gets right to the heart of why so many relationships seem to lose their spark. That initial head over heels in love feeling, it's not meant to last forever. So the real trick, the mystery we're going to solve, is figuring out what on earth comes next.
So what's the answer? Well, Chapman's whole idea is that we're all speaking different emotional languages. And if you don't speak your partner's language, you're just not going to connect. Today, we're zeroing in on two languages that are often the missing pieces of the puzzle, starting with one that is all about action.
Okay, so for some people, actions don't just speak louder than words, they are the only words that matter. And we're not talking about huge romantic gestures here. Nope, this is about the daily grind, the consistent choice to lighten your partner's load and serve them in really practical ways.
I mean, just look at this list. Cooking dinner, taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, these might seem like just chores, right? Wrong. For someone whose main language is acts of service, these actions are like screaming, "I love you" from the rooftops. It's telling them, hey, I see you, I care about you, and I want to make your life just a little bit easier.
And then there's the other side of the coin. This quote from Mary in the book, it's just heartbreaking. Because you can feel the deep, deep pain that comes from this language being totally ignored. For Mary, it's not really about the dirty dishes. It's about what his inaction is screaming at her. We're not a team. I don't care enough to help. For her, an empty love tank feels exactly like an overflowing sink of chores.
And now for our fifth and final language, physical touch. You could argue this is the most fundamental way we communicate love. And for people who speak this language, touch isn't just a nice little bonus in the relationship, it is the lifeline. Without it, their emotional tank just completely dries up.
And it's so important to realize that this language has so many different dialects. It goes way beyond just what happens in the bedroom. A simple thing like holding hands while you walk, a quick back rub while you're watching a movie, or just running your hand through their hair. These little things are incredibly powerful. They're the constant deposits that keep that emotional connection feeling real and secure.
This right here really shows you the two sides of this language and just how powerful it is. A harsh touch, especially to someone who needs physical connection, can be absolutely devastating. But a gentle, loving touch, wow, it can say I love you and you're safe more deeply than any sentence ever could.
And this quote from a guy named Pete just says it all. It's the perfect example of what happens when you finally crack the code. He and his wife Patsy were really struggling. Turns out, his language was physical touch, and hers was quality time. As soon as they figured that out, it was a total game changer. It just goes to show you, this isn't just a cute idea, it can literally save a relationship.
Okay, so we've got the 5 languages down. Now for the most important question. How in the world do we figure out our own? This is where it gets really fun. We're moving from learning to doing. It's time to put on your detective hat and figure out what makes you feel loved.
Seriously, take a second and think about it. Out of all 5, words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch, which one really hits home for you? What is the one thing you need from your partner more than anything else to feel truly, deeply loved?
Now, if the answer isn't popping into your head right away, don't even worry about it. Dr. Chapman gives us this amazing 3-step guide to help you figure it out. These 3 questions right here are your keys to unlocking the whole thing. Let's break them down.
Okay, this first one is so insightful. Just think about it. What does your partner do or not do that cuts you the deepest? Is it a mean comment, a forgotten anniversary? Is it the fact that you feel like you're doing everything around the house by yourself? That pain you feel, it's a giant flashing neon sign pointing directly at your love language. All right, method number 2 asks you to look at what you're always asking for. Are you constantly saying, "Can we please just sit and talk for a minute?" Or, "I'd really love it if you helped with the kids' bath time." What feels like a simple, fair request to you, and what your partner might even hear as nagging, is actually your heart crying out to be loved in its own native tongue.
So, once you have an idea of your language and your partner's, this is where the real magic begins. Knowing this stuff is great, but using it, that's what changes everything. Let's talk about how to take this knowledge and actually start filling up those love tanks.
And Dr. Chapman has this really simple, kind of fun way to put this whole thing into practice right away. It completely takes the guesswork out of it.
It's called the tank check game. It's so easy. You just ask your partner, hey, on a scale of 0 to 10, how full is your love tank right now? And then, and this is the most important part, you ask, what could I do to help fill it? Just like that. You've opened a direct line to exactly what they need from you to feel loved in that moment.
This quote comes from a story that perfectly shows you how this works. So, a husband tries the tank check game. He asks his wife what he can do to fill her tank, and she says, you could do the laundry. His primary language was physical touch, so he was just totally confused. Love and laundry? He just didn't get the connection at all.
And this is the light bulb moment. Once someone explained to him that the amazing feeling of love he gets from a hug is the exact same feeling of love his wife gets when he does the laundry, it all just clicked into place. Suddenly, it wasn't about a chore anymore. It was about speaking her language. And his reaction? Bring on the laundry. Now that is love in action.
And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway of all. Love is not just this fuzzy feeling that comes and goes. It's a choice. It's an action. Speaking your partner's language might not feel natural to you at first. Maybe you're not a big hugger or you hate doing dishes. But you make the choice to speak their language anyway. Why? Because you're choosing to love them in a way they can actually understand and feel.
And really, that's what it all boils down to. Learning the languages. That's step one. The real answer to that big question, what happens to the love after you get married, is found in the small, daily choice to speak your partner's language, especially when it's not your own. So, what choice are you going to make?